Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're going to be discussing the knee-jerk reaction for game week 3, going over some popular transfers so far this game week and then giving you guys our transfer watch list for the upcoming game week. If you guys are new to the channel or enjoying the videos, leave a like and subscribe. As always, have those notification bells turned on as well so you don't miss any future FPL videos. And with that being said, let's jump into it. So today let's go over the 3 most transferred in and 3 most transferred out players so far this game week, and I'm going to give you guys my recommendation as to what I think about these transfers. Then after that I'm going to go over our transfer watch list, which are 8 players that I've got my eye on for game week 3 and onwards, as there are 8 performers that have done very well so far and have some good fixtures coming up. First of all, let's have a look at the most popular transfers in, beginning with Mbeumo. He has made a superb start to the season. 16 points in game week 2. He's now made it 3 goals in his first 2 appearances for Brentford. He's on penalties. He's got 2 penalties in the first 2 game weeks and has scored them both. There's no reason for him to get off those pens for Brentford. He's very good from the spot. So I think he is an excellent option at just £6.6 million to join your FPL teams if you don't currently have him in. His ownership was just 8% to start the season in game week 1. It rose to about 10% for game week 2, and I think it's going to be a lot higher than that for game week 3 and beyond. It could be north of 15%, I would imagine, considering that he's nearly seen 500,000 managers transfer him in to their teams. His underlying numbers are of course very good. He's got the highest expected goals figure of any player so far this season, the only player with an XG of over 3 so far in the first 2 game weeks. He continues to put himself in such great positions. He should have scored 2 goals in game week 1, only managed the 1 that week, but I did get 2 last game week away to Fulham. Brentford's fixtures as well are probably some of the best fixtures from now all the way up until game week 18 out of any team in the Premier League. They have some really good fixtures in the long term. So Mbeumo, assuming that he stays fit, is pretty much a set and forget option between now and when we get our first wildcard available around halfway through the season. I think Mbeumo could just sit there in your team at 6.5 mil to 6.6 mil as that placeholder at that price point. He's got good fixtures. He's got really good form right now. Excellent underlying numbers. He's getting himself into the right areas. He's been pretty clinical at taking his chances so far. Barring that one good opportunity that he had in game week 1, there's no real reason not to have Mbeumo in your teams right now. Moving on, Purvis Estupiñán as well, an excellent option. He was really good in game week 1. Unfortunate not to have the clean sheet in game week 1. Brighton, once again, despite not getting a clean sheet in game week 2, Estupiñán still scored really well. Got himself a goal and an assist. Is looking incredibly attacking, very threatening from an attacking standpoint. One of the most attacking defenders that I've seen so far this season. Probably him and Chilwell have one of the most attacking average position to start the first couple of game weeks. Estupiñán, he's very good as well getting clean sheets typically for Brighton. Unfortunately, hasn't picked up any in the first 2 game weeks, but Brighton's defense was fairly solid last year. I think with their fixtures coming up, they should look to be picking up a clean sheet, especially next week. They've got West Ham, which is a good chance for a clean sheet there for them. And Wissa as well from Brentford. He's been cashing in on the goals with Tony out of their side. Picked up a double-digit return in game week 2, also returned in game week 1. He's a player with the second highest expected goals figure of all players so far this season, only behind Mbeumo. So clearly, Mbeumo and Wissa are getting very involved with that Tony. They have excellent fixtures coming up, as I discussed with Mbeumo, and Wissa has been taking his chances as well. He's been extremely clinical to start the season. He's picked up 2 goals and 1 assist to start his Premier League campaign. Also coming in at just 6.1 mil, he could be a superb forward replacement for João Pedro, who I know a lot of people do have in their teams. Wissa, only 0.6 million more. If you can afford the upgrade, I would definitely look to make it, especially if you rolled your transfer in the first game week of the season. Wissa is currently my top transfer target in terms of forwards in FPL right now. Me currently being a João Pedro owner, I am looking to get rid of him. Brighton's fixtures from an attacking standpoint aren't great after next game week where they have West Ham, so I think João Pedro out potentially this week early, as he did get rested or benched in game week 2, came on for 30 minutes and picked up a yellow card. So maybe switching over to Wissa, who has much more confirmed minutes. He's looking really, really good, and he's got excellent fixtures coming up compared to Brighton. Going João Pedro to Wissa is definitely a likely move that I'm looking to make for Game Week 3, as I do have 2 free transfers available. Let's have a look at the top transfers out. Currently, it's Reece James, Stones, and McAllister, all players that should be missing some time from the Premier League. Reece James is expected back in about a month, could be even longer for Reece James. Stones currently has an unknown return date, and McAllister has been suspended for a month from his red card tackle there. I thought it was a little bit harsh giving him a red card, seeing that in real time, but nonetheless, he has been suspended for quite some time for Liverpool. So, of course, all 3 of these players are good options to get rid of. Very, very unfortunate, especially with James and Stones. 2 options that were very popular in defense to start this season. Unfortunately, their campaigns haven't panned out as well as they would have liked to start this new year, but nonetheless, get rid of them now. Look to bring in a couple of replacements. There is plenty of good defensive options right now. Stupid, if you don't have him, has been really, really good, and I'm actually going to go over a couple of other really good defensive replacements in our watch list, which is coming up next. So here is the transfer watch list for Game Week 3, starting off with the trend of good defensive replacements. Rico Henry here from Brentford looks to be an absolute steal at just 4.6 mil. Started the season at 4.5, his price has already risen by 0.1, and in Game Week 2, despite typically playing in a fullback role for Brentford, found himself in right wing for the majority of that game against Fulham. Had a huge position change with a couple of injuries around that Brentford squad. Rico Henry was actually playing in right wing despite being listed as a defender, which is something that you very, very rarely see in FPL. To get a defender playing in a wing role is an absolutely incredible value option right now. Rico Henry just 4.6. He's got extremely good attacking potential, obviously playing in a wing role for Brentford. And if he does continue to play in this role, I'm sure he's going to continue picking up goals and assists. He got himself an assist in Game Week 1, looked very threatening in Game Week 2, couldn't provide any assists, but did play quite a few really good passes in the final third. I'm a massive fan of Rico Henry right now. Crystal Palace at home, coming up in Game Week 3 is a really good chance for another clean sheet for Brentford. Henry's coming off a clean sheet last week, got an assist the week prior. He's made a really good start to his Premier League campaign, and if he can play in a right wing role, he's going to get amongst the goals and assists, there's no doubt. Even when he's playing in fullback for Brentford, he is getting very far forward and providing those assists like he showed in Game Week 1. His predicted points across the next 6 are okay with 21. I definitely think he will exceed these predicted points. Brentford's fixtures are just too good from a defensive standpoint. Rico Henry's positioning is just too good, and I think he's going to score very, very well over the coming game week. So to get a defender at just 4.6 mil that is providing this much attacking potential with this good of fixtures, he is a superb option to go after in Game Week 3. Chilwell, of course, as well. He looked very, very threatening Game Week 2. Unfortunate not to have himself a goal or an assist. Had a really good chance from a Sterling cross, went through a couple of plays, found himself open inside the box, took the shot on, unfortunately was cleared away close to the line. Also had a 0.7 expected assist stat for this game, so he had some really good underlying numbers from an attacking standpoint. Chelsea just need to shore up their defence and start picking up clean sheets, but I think clean sheets will come with their good fixture runs coming up. Luton at home Game Week 3, you couldn't really ask for a much better fixture from a defensive standpoint for Chilwell to get a clean sheet there. Chelsea's fixtures from Game Weeks 3 through 8 are arguably the best out of any team in the Premier League during this 6 game week period. His predicted points in Game Week 3 is nearly 5, which is the highest player of any on this watch list. If you don't have Chilwell in your defense, I would really encourage you getting him in. Obviously, he did blank last game week, but I think he's going to perform really well over the coming 5 or 6 weeks. Looking at some Brighton assets, March has made a superb start to the season, 17 points in his first couple of matches. His form has just continued on from last season. Obviously, a lot of people were looking for Mitoma in that Brighton midfield at the same price as March, but March is really making a case why he could be an even better option than Mitoma. If not, you could play him in conjunction with Mitoma. Obviously, Mitoma already with a very high ownership of over 40%. March is a lot less than that, so if you wanted to add another Brighton attacker to your team, March is guaranteed minutes. There's a lot less risk going for March over someone like João Pedro or Danny Welbeck up top, or even Enciso in midfield. He's going to be playing every single week. He's finding himself popping up at the back post for some tap-ins a couple of times against Wolves. Looked really good in game week 1 as well. Got himself on the score sheet there. West Ham at home coming up game week 3 is a great chance for him to add to his goal tally, as Brighton's attack looks so good this season. They've scored a massive amount of goals. They've put a lot past Luton, put 4 past Wolves. Marsh and Mbeumo just continue to get involved in that Brighton attack, picking up where they left off at the back end of last season. I think Marsh is going to be a really good differential in the middle of the park. If you don't want to go for Mbeumo or already have Mbeumo and want to add another Brighton attacker into the team, Wissa, of course, as I touched on in the most popular transfer section, looks to be a superb forward option. He is currently my top transfer target for game week 3. He's looking really good for Brentford, and I massively rate Brentford's fixtures. João Pedro is one of the main issues in my team currently that I want to solve, so Wissa is definitely my solution to that problem. He's got really good predicted points over the next 6 game weeks given his price point. So obviously 25 predicted points nearly over this time is actually even more than the next player on this watch list in Ollie Watkins, despite Watkins being at 2 mil more. Saying this though, Watkins was very unlucky not to have more points in game week 2. Had a couple of really good one-on-one chances he couldn't quite convert, and Aston Villa's attack are looking very threatening, especially on the breakaway. Bailey and Diaby are looking as superb inclusions to their team, and hopefully they can become a permanent fixture in Aston Villa's front line, as Diaby, Bailey and Watkins look like a very good front three for Villa this season. Watkins, of course, has some really good extended run of fixtures. I would say Aston Villa have some great fixtures all the way up until when that first wild card becomes available, or the second wild card becomes available and the first one expires. Watkins, I think, should be a pretty consistent performer over this time. Was very good last season. Villa have the fixtures for him to be able to continue his good start to the year. He's picked up a couple of assists in his first 2 game weeks, winning the penalty game week 2. He's put up 10 points so far in his first 2 matches. So Watkins, a very solid forward option as well. You'd have to pay a little bit more to go for Watkins over the likes of Wissa or even Alvarez, who, as you can see, is also on this watch list, but he is a little bit more certain, I would say, in terms of he's shown in the past that he can score lots of goals in a Premier League campaign. Put up at least 15 last season, so he was looking really good for Villa. I think he's always a very safe option, and I do think he will become probably the second highest owned forward going forward from game week 3. Mbeumo, as well, as I touched on in the most popular transfer section, looks to be an excellent pick. His ownership is still very low at 6.6 mil. There's no reason why Mbeumo shouldn't be in your teams. Underlying numbers there, the fixtures are there, and he's such a good price as well. Mbeumo, of course, 40% ownership. If you don't currently have him in, he is a good player to have in the sides, as if you don't have him, he's going to continue to damage your rank. Mbeumo, unfortunately, a player that I haven't had in my team for the first couple of weeks. It has definitely hurt me, as he's performed extremely well. West Ham at home coming up next. The only thing I will say with those Brighton assets is that after their fixture in game week 3 against West Ham at home, they do face quite a few of the sides that came in the top 6 or 7 last season. So I think Mbeumo's goal output will slightly decrease during this period, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this Brighton attack can fare against some of the top quality sides in the competition. Obviously, they've made a great start to the season, scoring a lot past Luton and Wolves, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how this De Zerbi play style goes against some of the better opposition, whether they can keep up that same incredible attacking output they have put up so far this year. And I will say another really good forward option here, Julian Alvarez. Him, Wissa and Watkins look to be 3 quality forward picks going forward. If you don't have, or if you're looking for João Pedro replacements, or just wanted to add another forward to your team if you currently have a 4.5 option, Alvarez could be another good pick here. He's in that Man City attack. He's got 2 starts now. He's played the full 90 in both of these games. Hopefully he is nailed from this point onwards for Man City. He's made a really good start to this season, scored an absolute screamer to beat Newcastle in game week 2. I don't see why he would get benched by Pep. Obviously there's always that chance of rotation, but with the form he's in right now, it seems that he is being preferred by Pep to stay in their team, and I get a 6.5 mil player in that Man City attack is always going to be incredible value. Alvarez, cheaper than any other Man City midfield or attacking option that has good underlying numbers. So he could be an excellent forward pick there as well. Sheffield away game week 3 is a great fixture. He has okay predicted points, but I think if he can keep getting starts for Man City, Alvarez could be an absolute FPL gem, as to get a Man City attacker for so cheap is obviously very, very rare. So I think Alvarez could be a really good forward pick going and coming up as well. Thanks for watching today's knee-jerk reaction for Game Week 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Let me know who you guys have your eyes on for Game Week 3 as potential transfer targets. Have those notification bells turned on as well so you don't miss any future videos. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.